The ripples of this shift could be significant. The ripples of this shift could be significant, impacting everything from global trade flows to investment patterns.
Finance ecosystem involves buyers, suppliers, and funders. Here's how the three come together to free up cash flow.
I can tell you, I had this very early, and I think I've held it all the time. I still think that this is probably the right end vision.
And Ripple is quite well positioned as it is the leading enterprise solution provider in the space.
The Bitcoin ETF bullish narrative. Bitcoin just went below $57,000. You need to stop listening to market gurus drawing arbitrary lines on charts and making absurd price predictions just like this one.
This fantasy that somehow this is going to bypass government, bypass compliance. You know what? That's just BS.
Know what you hold?
Enjoy the ride, pal.
It's the XRP army.
If you got some baggies, welcome to the party. Welcome back to some more Moon o'clock news. No breakfast, no coffee, just straight extra bullishness. Shout out to latest up. We got Michael Merrifield in the building. Appreciate you stopping by, tuning in, smashing them likies, stuffing some baggies. Go ahead, throw on those moon suits, throw on those pilot shades, buckle up, cause the future's extra bullish. Let's go full speed, full throttle into the cryptoverse. We got the total global cryptocurrency market cap today at 2.26 trillion, down almost 3% in the past 24. We got XRP currently in the number 7 spot, right around 50 cents, 2 for $1. We got Stellar XLM right around 10 cents. BTC 57,443. We got ETH right around 2900. We got Flare Networks right around 0.028. Axelar $1.12. XDC 0.034. We got Songbird at 009. Stronghold 006. And we got Zahao right around 14 cents. Evernote, 27.5 cents. We got the 3rd edition Moon Party a couple days away, Friday, May 3rd. We also got the Cinco de Mayo pool party. If you haven't already gotten your tickets, grab them now, moonparty.2tix.com. We'll see you down in Las Vegas for the 3rd edition Moon Party. Also, XRP Las Vegas 2024 and the Cinco de Mayo pool party. Later, glitches. We got one from LEG XRP to pop things off. XRP equals a level playing field. The alternative trade settlement, multi-currency agnostic.
Some rocky patches. Trade tensions with China and Russia are simmering, and some countries are wary of the US wielding the dollar as a political weapon, like imposing sanctions on countries they don't see eye to eye with. And this has pushed countries to explore alternative currencies and trade settlements. Potentially leading to a more multipolar financial world. The ripples of this shift could be significant. Impacting everything from global trade flows to investment patterns. The upcoming BRICS summit in Russia will be interesting to watch. Will they forge a united front on de-dollarization? Only time will tell, but one thing is for sure, the world of global finance is in for a profound transformation.
XRP, hidden in plain sight. Know what you hold. We got XRP drops. What is a supply chain finance? Great to see Ripple and Hashkey Group collaborating on using the XRP ledger to tackle issues and pain points on supply chain finance.
Finance ecosystem involves buyers, suppliers, and funders. Here's how the three come together to free up cash flow. First, a buyer extends a supplier's payment terms in order to optimize working capital. However, that extension can strain both the relationship and the supplier's own cash flow. To offset that risk, a buyer can invite the supplier to participate in a supply chain finance program. This enables the supplier to receive payment as soon as the invoice is approved and take advantage of the buyer's higher credit rating to obtain financing at lower rates. Once the supplier agrees to participate, they submit their invoices to the buyer just as before. The buyer approves the invoices and they're automatically uploaded to a cloud-enabled supply chain finance platform. Within that platform, the supplier has 100% visibility into all accounts receivable with their buyer. They can select as many or as few invoices as necessary for which to receive early payment, and none are considered debt or a loan. Once the invoices are selected, the funder processes those requests and delivers early payment to the supplier as soon as the day after approval. The full amount of the invoice, minus a small fee, is transferred electronically to the supplier's bank account. When the invoices have matured at the extended term, the buyer still pays the invoice to whomever it's due. For buyers and suppliers, a strategic, well-constructed supply chain finance program is mutually beneficial, helping buyers free up cash and allowing suppliers to get paid earlier. The relationship is strengthened, and together, both buyers and their suppliers can fuel growth, stability, and innovation for the future.
We're right where we knew we'd be, and while the 99% continue to sleep, the 1% pink dots continue to add to those generational wealth bags. We got Smoke Dog. Just like the necessary capabilities of an ESDR, XRP can transfer any form of value, fiat currency, gold, securities, contracts, barrels of oil, hours of electricity, services, etc. with instant settlement and unlimited liquidity. XRP. All roads lead to the bridge. We got one from Emi Yoshikawa. Ripple breaks ground the Japan SBI group to use the XRP ledger for supply chain solutions. But XRP. And we got one from Patrick Henry. In case you missed it, new court filings indicate that the SEC Gov Chair Gary Gensler knowingly misled Congress when pressed on the classification of ETH at the Financial Services Committee hearing to conduct oversight of his agency. John Deaton says, with all due respect, it's time to serve multiple subpoenas on Gary Gensler and the SEC Gov. I encourage everyone to read the amicus brief I filed in the Coinbase case. There's a section in the brief proving Gensler is a bad faith regulator who has infected the entire agency. Get those jumpsuits. Get those jail cells ready. Drain the swamp. Free the standard. We got crypto debt. Top crypto projects by developer activity in April. Dev activity. The development activity of a project done on this public GitHub repositories. Development activity metrics are measured in the number of GitHub events. We got Optimism at the top here. Hedera, Cardano, Chainlink, Polkadot, ETH, Cosmos, ICP, Multiverse, Aptos. We got another one from Ali GXRP. Joe Cass explains the end vision for the XRP ledger. Liquidity is trapped and assets are trapped, and that is the problem I have been working to solve. Welcome to the internet of value.
Question here from the community. What is your completed vision for the XRP ledger? And that could be, years away because there's iterations, there's things being worked on, innovation. What's the end goal? And I know that's a very loaded question, so as much as you can disclose.
No, I can tell you I had this very early, and I think I've held it all the time. I still think that this is probably the right end vision, which is, and I've used this phrase many times over the last 8 years, is pools of liquidity that anybody can contribute to and draw off. And what I mean is we're going to be a multi-currency world for a very long time. And there's no end state in which we're not at least multi-asset. Even if, let's say, Bitcoin takes over the world, just being ridiculous, well, maybe not. Who knows? Let's say Bitcoin takes over the world. Still, someone's going to want to hold shares in the real estate investment trust in the Seychelles Islands that I keep using in my example. People are not going to want, not everyone's going to want to hold Bitcoin all the time like that. Or they're going to need liquidity. There's no world where we're not going to need cross-asset payments. We're going to need liquidity. And what I've discovered, looking at the payment space, is that liquidity is trapped and assets are trapped. And I think that is a multi-trillion-dollar problem. And that's the problem that I think I've been trying to work to solve for the past 10 years. So that vision is, if I want to trade asset A for asset B, it could be a payment, it could be an investment, it could be taking a loan, it could be making a loan payment, whatever it is. The concept of swapping one asset for another can encompass almost all of finance.
Moving quadrillions, unlocking trillions, saving billions. All the money, all the value. We got Chad Steinberger. Both Xbox, PlayStation will be adding native crypto wallets. Being a gamer in the future will actually be a professional job, as they'll be able to earn and sell their in-game content. Welcome to the mass adoption. Cryptocurrencies, digital assets. We got Echo the Truth. 2 to 3 weeks, reset incoming. 2 to 3 weeks to go back to pre 1971. We got Susan Anthony. The amount of crypto assets custody is expected to reach about 10 trillion by 2030. Or if you think about it differently, for example, Northern Trust and HSBC anticipated that up to 10% of all financial assets will be tokenized by 2030.
The market is becoming quite saturated, most commentators say. So how can Ripple stay ahead in this particular race?
Well, I see it probably a bit differently. I don't think the market is saturated at all. I do think the crypto market opportunity is quite large and even growing bigger as we speak, because major global institutional players are still leaning into crypto and developing quite heavily on it, especially thinking about fundamental infrastructure services like custody, payments, or also tokenization. The amount of crypto assets custodied is expected to reach about 10 trillion by 2030. Or if you think about it differently, for example, Northern Trust and HSBC anticipated that up to 10% of all financial assets will be tokenized by 2030. Wow. Most of this adoption will actually be driven by institutional players, and they will need a place to safely store and manage or orchestrate assets, and they need the technologies for that. And through custody, through the custody technology offering of Ripple, we will be able to provide those customers a tech stack where they can build on to actually bring their services then to market. And Ripple is quite well positioned as it is the leading enterprise solution provider in the space, with a very strong crypto DNA, but with also this very strong history of building with institutional players in the market.
The best is still yet to come. Crawl, walk. Then we rock it. We got Mr. Man XRP. The IMF states that unbacked crypto assets or digital assets that have no intrinsic value or backing by any underlying assets or commodity. Their value is determined solely by supply and demand, leading to high price volatility. The most prominent example of an unbacked crypto asset is Bitcoin. These are not suitable as official currencies and means of payments and should not be supported by the official sector. Bitcoin was a demo. You ain't get the memo. XRP, ready to go live. We got Edo Farina, XRP. Meanwhile, there's zero institutional demand for Bitcoin.
The Bitcoin ETF bullish narrative, Bitcoin just went below $57,000. You need to stop listening to market gurus drawing arbitrary lines on charts and making absurd price predictions just like this one. This is actually from 2 days ago, or this one from 29th of April. I'm not saying support or resistance levels are not real, but the markets simply don't care about an arbitrary line drawn by an arbitrary person arbitrarily on a chart. The markets are just filling orders of both buyers and sellers, and the price action indeed wants to go where most trading activity is at. This means that the price of an asset really comes down to one simple denominator, and that is buy orders versus sell orders. Well, a better alternative is finding a point of control on the charts. Here's an example of that. This is exactly where most trading has occurred. That goes for selling orders and also for the buying ones. This brings us to the highest liquidity and trading volume. On charts, everything is about possibilities, and usually successful traders just find positions where they have a higher probability of succeed. This also applies for the ridiculous XRP price predictions that have been circulating on X. This particular case just comes from a $27 per XRP price prediction that was made around 3 weeks ago, and we are actually now sitting below 50 cents. That doesn't mean that I don't believe XRP is going to reach $27 or actually way beyond. It's just that these predictions are made on arbitrary lines. In fact, when Bitcoin was hitting new all-time highs, I did a post on X why I expect markets to crash over 80% when I actually exited most of my positions in crypto, which really comes down to a more tangible factor that is often very overlooked by the masses. And this really comes down to volume. So when you see that Bitcoin was approaching the all-time high, you have a very low volume compared to the previous all-time high in 2021. You don't necessarily need a high volume to make new highs. This chart is the ultimate proof of that, but you do need a high volume to have a strong support level. Any correction is brutal when you are operating under a low volume environment. And that's exactly why we reached a new all-time high for liquidations in the crypto markets in the last days. That's why you should stop listening to people like Michael Saylor, who said you should expect a 10x to 100x after Bitcoin ETFs. But the reality is very different from what this gentleman over here has been actually saying.
Meanwhile, Walter Bloomberg, Cathie Wood raises her Bitcoin prediction by 2.3 milli. We got one from Andrew X. Google Talks, Chris Larson calling it how he sees it. I couldn't agree more. Ripple choosing the regulatory path has always been the pillar of my investment conviction.
Regulators have got to be there every step of the way. This fantasy that somehow this is going to bypass government, bypass compliance. You know what? That's just BS. And you know what? Nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. That is a champagne problem with a bunch of rich young people that can sit there behind their computer screens and like block out a lot of bad things that can happen. So it just can't go that way. And so I think we're trying to think about that, try to be pragmatic about that, because that's the only way we're going to have impact. And if you look at people that are trying to support what's going on in the developing world, they are very much wanting to work. They're not trying to go around. They're trying to work within the system because they know that's how you're going to have impact. So that's.
We got Dogar, XR, XRP. Just watch, grab some popcorn, sit back, and stack up on that XRP. With that being said, Batman and Bag Ladies, the crypto market cap is at 2.17 trillion. The crypto winter of 2018-19 took it to 100 billion, all while the Wall Street media machine ran an article after article about how it was all going to zero. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. 2.17 trillion. We're still early in. Market summary, NVIDIA Corp, 2.06 trillion. The best is still yet to come. Crawl walk. Then we rock it. Let a friend know that the greatest opportunity of multiple lifetimes is still at hand. But the train's left the station. Tick-tock. Tick-tock, and let them know that we'll be partying down in Vegas for XRP Las Vegas 2024, the Moon Party 3rd edition. Where will you be? Where will those bags be when that regulation jar of molasses finally breaks open and XRP's true price is finally revealed? Big bags. Later, glitches.
In the heartbeat of Las Vegas, where the neon lights meet the starry skies, a new rhythm is pulsing. On the 3rd of May 2024, the city that never sleeps becomes the epicenter of a revolution. The 3rd edition of a hip-hop concert like none other, Moon Party 2024, is preparing to ascend the stage during the same week as the largest XRP conference in the world, XRP Las Vegas, with electrifying performances by XRP bags.
We are not done, just having some fun. Just getting started, the flip of the switch, and you thought you could short it. Burning the escrow, now there's been a shortage. So many digits, now you can't afford it.